Let's talk about how to start a mastermind group. In today's conversation, I want to go granular when it comes to a mastermind group. So here's the benchmarking I want you to pay attention to. I want to first actually define for you what a mastermind group really is. And when you think about a mastermind group, think about a community of peers who gather to support each other in gaining mastery over a subject. So everybody's helping each other, and folks are having conversations about what matters and what doesn't matter. And usually the peers have a similar level of knowledge and competence to bring to the group, but they will all have a slightly different skill set and experiences in a shared domain. So it's all about interaction. It's all about complementing each other. It's all about helping each other. And you got to really have this really right off the bat. And mastermind groups are common among entrepreneurs, but they are getting popularity in other spaces such as careers, investing, and personal development. And so what are the benefits of a mastermind group? It really depends on what you're looking for. But generally, you have deep mastery on a subject. You have growth from a group experience. I mean, the group experience has to be fostering a certain level of collaboration. You got to have also a horizontal power dynamics as opposed to a coaching, which is really vertical. And one thing I also want to say is that when we talk about starting a mastermind group, you have to really understand that it's all about the niche that you're in, right? Mastermind groups are different from one niche to another, and every niche is kind of different. It has different dynamics. You also, when we talk about benefits to a mastermind group, you have amazing networking opportunities, and networking opportunities could actually trigger profitability, could trigger, let's say, reputation management, could actually help you be more known. Okay, in terms of branding, that's kind of cool. And you also have accountability. So when you think about a mastermind group, think about accountability being quite essential. In other words, you are actually having a clear idea about what works and what doesn't work. So that's really important, and you got to really have that from the get-go. It has to be it has to be there from the get-go. That way, you have a clear idea about what works and what doesn't work. So let's talk about the methods here. How do you start a mastermind group? And it's really important to really understand that when we speak about starting a mastermind group, we are speaking about granularity. It's all about clarity here. So you want to create your tentative big purpose. I mean, what's really driving you? What's really helping you? What's causing this mastermind group to be created in the first place? And so what you can do is to actually create a tentative big purpose statement. And so when I speak about tentative, it's all about actually provisional. It's all about making sure that nothing is set in stone, right? And so we encourage every community to do this. So it's not unique to mastermind groups. And a big purpose statement looks like this. We're going to put this on the screen. And so the reason why we are calling this a tentative big purpose statement right now is that it's a good idea to keep a loose grasp on it, recognizing that it might evolve a bit as you bring your group together. Because once you bring your mastermind group together, you are going to have different dynamics. You are going to have a different chemistry. You're going to have a different rapport among members, and that will actually fine tune your statement purpose. And a mastermind group is so tight knit, and the connections run so deep that one of the best things you can do is to run the big purpose statement by your members and make sure that everybody has a total buy-in. And you need that total buy-in from the get-go. Don't try to do it like once the process is kicked off. No, you want to get it. You want to get that buy-in, that accountability from the get-go. So the first thing is you want to create your tentative big purpose. Second, you want to select potential ideal members. I want to insist on that, ideal members, because not everybody who wants to be part of your mastermind group will get in, right? It's all about selecting. It's all about filtering. So you want to think about some potential members. Unlike other types of online communities where you might open up the community to anyone who wants to join, mastermind groups are usually cultivated carefully, right? It's all about the level of care, the level of breadth and depth that you take when cultivating relationships among your mastermind group members. And this care is really important because it might actually probably take some work to meet and vet potential members, but you want to do it because it will be actually worth it for the quality of your group. And so you want to look for members with a common domain. For instance, you can have small business owners. You can have trading specialists. You can have day traders, for instance. You can have career-minded individuals. So a common domain, experience to share, right? It's not about just inviting people. People have to experience to share, openness and kindness, and also desire for improvement. So when we talk about starting a mastermind group, you need to actually solidify your big purpose. I mean, the big purpose that you actually had provisionally before. Now is the time to actually buttress that purpose. The first time you bring your group together is a great opportunity to actually check that you are all on the same page, right? It's all about making sure everybody's on the same page so that nobody really sort of acts surprised that they're not getting what they're supposed to get from the mastermind group, right? Ask questions around, and you want to be really transparent about everything from the get-go. You want to run your big purpose statement by the group and see if they are in agreement with it. You are going to need everybody to buy in. I said this before, right? Total buy-in from the get-go. Make sure all the group members know it and commit to it, and make any changes you need to as you move along. And you have to actually choose a platform also. Now, when we talk about having a mastermind group, you can actually have it informally. Like you can actually communicate via emails and what have you, or even social media. But the thing is that when you go to when you choose a platform that's really a specific for a mastermind group, it's just better to have a coaching software that provides the foundation that you need, and that's kind of important. At some point in your collective journey, you might decide to choose a platform to host your community on, and not every mastermind group needs a platform, but we have learned from our investigations that a great platform can add so much value to a group, give you a place to bring important discussions together, and help the group stay in touch between meetings. And so, in short, a good platform gives you the space to set up and host great conversations. And you got to have this from the get-go. I mean, I want to insist on that because, see, the thing is that you got to have the right foundation. If you have the right group, the right individuals, the right chemistry, but you don't have the right foundation, the right sort of technological foundation, the right technological fulcrum on which to build your mastermind group, you ain't going anywhere. You're not going to go far because at some point you might need to actually archive some discussions. You might need to go back to those discussions. You might need to also hold members accountable. And you want to have the right tools to actually reach those goals. Next, you want to set your group roles. So if you want to start your mastermind group, you got to be really clear from the get-go in terms of what the rules are, and you have to enforce them. I mean, it's not just about setting your group rules and not really enforcing them, then you're just wasting people's time. No. As you bring a group together, you should also establish some community guidelines. Obviously, this can and should deal with important subjects like respect and safety, right? People actually join mastermind groups for safety, for respect, for accountability, but also for openness. But a mastermind group is not your average community. Just keep that in mind. Some mastermind groups, for example, require almost 100% attendance. For those groups, if you miss more than one meeting, you're out. I mean, it's not really, don't let a member actually try to apologize their ass to get back into the group. No, you are really strict from the get-go. This might sound a little bit extreme, but it's really an example of how seriously some mastermind groups take what they do. For some members, this might seem like overkill, but for some, it's just right. If they're going to invest the time in building deep connections to group members, they want to make sure those members are in it for the long haul, right? It's not about folks who want to come and play games. No. You want folks who are serious, and this is how you determine whether or not they're really determined. They are committed to the whole program, and then you have to set a price. It's really important. Now, what about money? Because see, if somebody's really serious about something, then they're willing to actually put a price tag on that thing. You don't have to charge for your mastermind group, but some do. Some mastermind groups charge a lot. The money can help to pay for group expenses like a platform or the moderator's time or even preparation, but it actually goes deeper than this. As we often actually say around online communities, people value what they pay for. So putting a real monetary value on your mastermind group means that your members have some skin in the game, and you got to have that. You want to have that skin in the game if you want to be sustainable over time. And believe it or not, this is going to increase the chances that they get what they need from the group and take it seriously. And you want them to take it seriously. Next, you want to decide on a meeting frequency. Is it once a month? Is it once a quarter? Is it once every 2 months? Once every 2 weeks? It really depends on the nature you're in. It depends on also the members' availability. Okay, you can decide this on your own or together, but it's important to establish how often your mastermind group will meet. You want to resist the urge to meet too frequently. If the group becomes too much of a time commitment, people may resent it and people are not going to show up, okay? Or people leave altogether. Remember, your members should have time in between meetings to implement things that you have discussed. Going back to what I said about accountability, right? And also, you want to actually help your members feel real progress. It can be a challenge to feel progress on a week-to-week basis, meeting once a month or once a quarter, or even once every 2 months might be a better option to actually help your members realize their growth. Because you got to really give time for time. You want to give some time to actually get things done. And you also want to set a time limit. And some mastermind groups meet indefinitely, but some leaders soar by having a time limit. And this is where the chronology plays an important role. Consider actually setting the time limit of your group for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, and coming to ending the whole thing at that point, or at least having a group conversation about whether you want to keep going is going to help you. And if you remember, back in the days when we learned marketing, there was something called SMART, right? Having a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Time bound is really important. You got to have a time. There's a boundary in terms of chronology here. Now, this time limit helps to keep your group focused and time bound, and it will give your members an out if they are not getting what they need from it. It will also give you opportunities to take a break from the group before reflecting on whether you want and need to start another session. And you got to have that from time to time, so you know whether or not the mastermind group is adding value to your life, but also to the other members' life, right? It's all about the ROI. Now, the ROI, the return on investment, doesn't have to be monetary necessarily, but it has to have some kind of accountability loop, right? Action, reaction. Am I getting something worth from this mastermind group? Next, you want to decide on a meeting structure. The meeting structure is going to help you actually solidify your relationship among members, but also provide actually an extra layer of accountability. So basically, when you think about creating a mastermind group, you want to think simultaneously about what your meetings will look like. It's not about just having a clear vision, but you got to have a certain vision. Even if it's not really clear, at least you have something. If you are only meeting for 1 or 2 hours every month, you got to really have a clear idea about that. How do you make the most of that time? How do you make sure nobody monopolizes the discussion? Some people love hearing themselves talk, and you do not want to have that. So you want to set a clear meeting structure and communicate it to your members from the get-go. For example, you might ask certain members to bring a problem they are working on for the group's input, and then give someone different an opportunity the next month. So every month you rotate the person who is actually in the hot seat, right? And so you might have an opportunity to go around the circle and have every group member share something that they are struggling with or something that they have learned. Remember, when we have a mastermind group, we have a group that was formed around expertise, around experience, and most importantly, around rapport. And you might devote, as a matter of fact, some time to having members identify goals they want to achieve by the next meeting. That way you create an accountability loop from the get-go. That way folks know that, okay, you know what, I have to do this, otherwise they'll kick my ass out, right? So you want to have this sort of enforcement loop. You decide, but make sure you have enough structure in place to make the meetings valuable, right? Going back to what I said about adding value, having ROI. And next thing you want to do, you want to start. Unlike other communities that evolve as you go, With a mastermind group, you have probably done a lot of the work up front. So now the only real thing left to do is to start. Get your members together for your first meeting and start growing. It's not about if you don't start, you actually will be stuck in what we call analysis paralysis, and you do not want to have analysis paralysis, especially when it comes to creating a start mind, a mastermind, not a start mind, a mastermind group, right? So, what is the brainstorming here? So, should you start a mastermind group at all this year? I'm going to give you 5 reasons you should actually start a mastermind group, and 5 reasons you shouldn't start a mastermind group. So you'll have a clear idea where the line is for you. Let's first talk about 5 reasons you should start a mastermind group. You have mastery of something and you want to get better. Just as the name suggests, a mastermind group is not for amateurs. A mastermind group is for people who already have a certain level of mastery in their field and they want to get even better. So a mastermind group thrives on mutual benefit. The members have to learn from each other. If you bring together a group of people who have little to no experience in their shared domain of interest, they won't be able to share their knowledge in a way that's valuable for everyone. Second thing, you want to run out your own expertise. So basically, although every mastermind group has mastery at its core, it's still important to understand that group members are often masters of different things. In this way, when members come together, they each bring unique expertise and perspectives. And a mastermind group of entrepreneurs, for example, might have members with different competencies, product development, funding, and online marketing, for example. And each member will have a different story and have learned different things. So sharing that unique knowledge, in our view, as well as perspective, is what makes a group work well. You got to have a clear niche. So just because you want unique perspectives in a group doesn't mean you should have totally different people. On the contrary, you should have a really clear niche for your mastermind group. Entrepreneurs might even be too big of a niche. The more focused you can get with your definition of an ideal member, the more valuable the group can be. Investors in commercial real estate or CMOs at major tech companies would be great examples of focused mastermind groups. If you want to grow your network, this could be another possibility in terms of helping you move on really fast. So it shouldn't be a secret that one of the top reasons industry leaders join mastermind groups is to grow their network in a meaningful way, right? You want to cultivate new relationships. You want to add people to your Rolodex. And when Napoleon Hill wrote about mastermind groups, this was one of his first observations. The wealthy people he studied will create mastermind groups, not only for the knowledge they will gain, but from the networking and opportunities that flowed from it. Mastermind groups often lead to collaborations, investments, and a ton of other great things. And you also want accountability. So being an entrepreneur or leader in an industry can be really lonely, and it can be really hard to keep momentum on your personal growth. One of the best things about a mastermind group is that it keeps members accountable. When the group meets regularly, it helps group members to be more productive because they know that people will ask about their work at the very next meeting. Now, let me give you 5 reasons you should not start a mastermind group this year. Number 1, you are a rookie. We're not saying that if you have to have total mastery of your field to create a mastermind group, but you shouldn't be a rookie either. It's totally impossible to create a mastermind group of people with more knowledge and experience than you and use it as an opportunity to learn from them, right? Your gift to them can be setting up the mastermind group and doing the hard work of keeping it moving. However, the masters you bring together need to see you as a peer to create a proper group. As a mastermind group leader, you're not just a rookie trying to learn from them. You are an equal participant who can also share knowledge. Okay, there has to be a give and take. Otherwise, this is not a good start. If you want to coach, don't create a mastermind group. Unlike coaching, mastermind groups have horizontal power dynamics. What this means is that it's a community of equals who share equal knowledge. They are complementary. So the host is not a coach. They are an organizer and perhaps a facilitator. That's really the right word here. So a good mastermind requires people who are all learning from one another So if you are an expert in a subject and want to share your knowledge with people who don't have any, that's really fantastic. But we probably call that a coaching business and not a mastermind. If you're not ready for commitment, don't create a mastermind group. Okay, good mastermind groups requires serious commitment. This means what? This means busy people must still make the time to show up on a regular basis. This includes you as the leader. If you're not serious about committing to a regular meeting, even if it's only once a month or every quarter, a mastermind group probably is not the right thing for you at this time. Consider launching some sort of virtual summit instead that will actually give you a ton of value but won't require a long-term commitment. And if you haven't dealt with your own stuff, so cards on the table, this mastermind group is not therapy. You definitely should learn and grow in it. But if you have serious stuff you need to work on, it might be better to do that first. Also, if you don't want anyone else who wants to join, one final thing, a mastermind group will take other people. It needs to be carefully cultivated to make sure that it has maximum trust and safety. It's actually a place for people to get real, right? So don't start a mastermind group until you have had a few conversations with some potential members. Do some networking with people who would be in your ideal group and find out what they want and need from a mastermind group. And I'm not saying here that you're going to start a group necessarily. It just means that you should do the legwork first to make sure that there is hunger for your group in your particular niche. As a bonus, this process will also help you evaluate who would actually be a good member and who wouldn't. That way you have a clear idea what's really happening here. So let me give you the concluding remarks here. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to start a mastermind group. I give you the benchmarking, the methods, the brainstorming, and the concluding remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.